Right now, the typical American under 35 has about $8,000 saved. Total. Not invested, not growing, just sitting there.
And yeah, almost 1 in 3 people your age has less than $1,000 to their name. So if you're sitting here at 30 or 25 or even 22, looking at a number that feels kinda embarrassing,
I need you to hear this first. You are not the outlier. You are the average. And honestly, that should scare you way more than it comforts you. Because the Fed's own data shows over half of American households have zero dedicated retirement savings. Zero. But here's what nobody's telling you. The gap between someone who's fine at 65 and someone who's in trouble isn't decided by how much money you make. It's decided by one number most people never even calculate. And once you see it, you're either going to feel relief or panic. Because it means where you stand right now still matters more than you think. So what is that number? Is it your salary, your age, how much debt you're carrying right now? I'll tell you exactly what it is in a second. But first, you gotta know why I even started digging for it in the first place. My name's Jason, and I spend most of my time chasing down investment opportunities and figuring out how to build financial freedom, real wealth, at an early age. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I had it all figured out at 22. I didn't. I made mistakes with my money that I'm still a little embarrassed about, not gonna lie. But somewhere in there, I started tracking one specific pattern. How people my age actually built wealth versus how they talked about building wealth. And the gap between those two groups came down to a single habit almost nobody talks about. And that's exactly what I want to show you today. Here's the thing about turning 30 broke. Everybody treats it like a diagnosis, like you're already behind and there's nothing left to do but panic. That's not what this is. Being 30 with nothing saved isn't a life sentence. It's just the moment you finally have enough real income to actually do something about it. And that single habit I mentioned, the one that separates people who catch up from people who don't, that's step 1 of exactly what I'm about to walk you through. So today, I'm giving you the actual roadmap. Not the vague stuff you've heard 100 times. Not cut your coffee spending or just invest in index funds and call it a day. I'm talking about the exact order of moves that can take someone from broke at 30 to a 6-figure net worth by 40. Because, look, the math on this is way more forgiving than you think, as long as you know what to do first, second, and third. So why does this happen to so many people? It's not because you're bad with money. It's not because you're lazy. It's because nobody ever actually taught you how this works. You graduated, got a job, and immediately started paying for a life you were told you were supposed to want. Rent that eats half your paycheck, a car payment, subscriptions you forgot you even signed up for. And somewhere in there, I'll start saving when I make more became the plan. Except the plan never actually starts. Because when you do make more, your spending just quietly grows right along with it. That's called lifestyle creep. And it's a huge reason smart, hardworking people hit 30 with nothing to show for a decade of paychecks. It's not a personal failure. It's a system that never gave you the playbook and then blamed you for not knowing the rules. All right, step 1. And I need you to actually do this instead of just nodding along. Before you invest a single dollar, you need to know 2 numbers cold. Exactly what you owe and exactly what you spend every month. Because right now, most people are guessing at both, and you cannot build wealth on top of numbers you're guessing at. Pull up every account, every credit card, every I'll deal with it later balance, and write down the real total. Oh, not the version that makes you feel better. Same with spending. Track 1 full month. Subscriptions you forgot about, food delivery apps, the random impulse buys that don't even register as spending anymore.
Because I promise you, there's at least one number on there that's going to genuinely surprise you. This has nothing to do with cutting your little pleasures out of your life. It's about replacing the fog with real numbers.
Because that fog has been running your finances this whole time, quietly in the background, while you thought you just weren't good with money. Once you can see the real picture, everything after this gets easier. And that's exactly where step 2 comes in. Okay, step 2. And this is the part that actually earns the 6-figure promise I made you earlier, so pay attention. Once you know your real numbers, here's the move. $580 a month, invested consistently in a simple, low-cost index fund. Averaging just 7% a year, which is actually below the market's long-term historical average, gets you to 6 figures in exactly 10 years. Not luck, not some crypto gamble, just math. And here's the part that should genuinely surprise you. Out of that $100,000, you only put in about $69,600 of it yourself. The other $30,400, the market built that for you while you were living your life, while you were at work, while you were asleep. That's the entire secret to catching up at 30. It was never about earning some crazy return. It's about starting the clock and refusing to stop it. And once that clock is running, there's one more piece that makes this whole thing actually stick long term. Here's step 3. And it's the one people skip because it sounds too simple to matter. Automated. Set up that $580 to pull out of your account the same day your paycheck hits, before you ever see it, before you get the chance to talk yourself out of it. The people who actually hit 6 figures by 40 aren't the ones with insane willpower. They're the ones who removed willpower from the equation completely. Life's gonna throw stuff at you. A bad month, a broken car, a friend's wedding you didn't budget for. And if this depends on you remembering to manually move money every month, it dies the first time things get busy. Automation just runs in the background, whether your week was great or completely fell apart, which is exactly why it works when nothing else does. 10 years from now, you won't remember the sacrifice. You'll just look at the number. But before you go set any of this up, you need to understand why most people who already know all 3 of these steps still never actually do them. Here's why people who know all 3 of these steps still don't do them. Knowing something and feeling safe enough to act on it, those are 2 completely different things. And if you've spent your whole adult life feeling behind, some part of you doesn't actually believe this works for people like you. That's the real trap. Not lack of information, lack of belief. So let's go back to that number I opened with. $8,000, the average for someone under 35 in this country. That number isn't a verdict on you. It's just where most people stop before they ever try. You don't have to be the outlier to change your life. You just have to be someone who actually started. Because 10 years from now, the difference between you and everyone still stuck at that $8,000 average will come down to who actually started. If this helped you see your next 10 years differently, stick around. Because this channel exists to keep handing you the roadmap nobody gave you the first time. I'm Jason, and I'll see you in the next one.